Secrets Unwrapped is brought to you in part by White Rocks Design Studio at Turcotte Design, who has been serving Southern Vermont for over 20 years. Fish Donkey, the future of tournament fishing. Targets Unlimited, Mercer Sports. Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped hot sauce with that big craft heat and that big craft taste. Corker Boots, P-Line, Sugar Mountain Trading Company. The Outdoor Experience Guide Service, who has been serving Southern Wisconsin for over 20 years. Cooler Guard Spray with the cleaning power of enzymes. Okuma Fishing, Hoffman Lures Incorporated, and a proud member of the Southwest Chamber of Commerce. Getting ready to learn how to set up for our salmon trip here. And Johnny Davendonis, a local guy, is out on Jared Lyon's boat today, the Blue Doggy, and we're going to have a great time fishing. Anyway, what are we going to do and how are we doing it?
Well, right now we're going to deploy a series of rods, starting with our downriggers, one of which will have a Fish Hawk probe on it. That's going to tell us our speed at depth, whatever depth we put it at. It's also going to tell us our temperature at whatever depth we put it at. And that's going to give us a starting point of where we're going to find these fish. Then we're also going to put out 2 diver rods that go out the sides of those, and then a series of board rods that'll be out the sides of those.
So a question, I'm obsessed with copper, lead core. Why do we use that?
There's different tactics for getting your lines deep and behind the boat. The advantage of being behind the boat, we're away from the lures are away from the fish. We're not spooking the fish as much. Plus, we're achieving the depth. Copper will get you the standard copper we run, atomic copper. That'll get you about 22 feet for every 100 feet deployed. So we'll have predetermined increments of 2, 3, 4, 500 feet.
Right.
And then there's a lead core line as well. That's a lead wrapped sheath. That'll get you about 5 feet for every color. Color's 30.
Right.
30.
And then the object is to create like a school.
More or less. Yeah.
So that's why we set out the rods the way it is. And these right here are for your downriggers.
Correct.
And then is that something we're going to do today?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, hang tight. We'll be back with more right after this.
Owner of Door 44 Winery here in Door County, and you are watching an episode of Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped.
Hey everybody, Chris Bates, Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped on the Blue Doggy. What, I think he just got off.
No, he didn't. He's there.
Yeah. Anyway, we're out salmon fishing with Captain J-Rod and having a great time out here on Lake Ontario with his first mate, Johnny Davendonis, and I gotta walk backwards here. Craig, see if you can get the fish. Little brown.
That's how you lift. Reel down. Lift. Easy.
Hey everybody, Chris Bates, Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped. Wow, what a time we're having here on the Blue Doggy with Captain J-Rod, catching, what kind of fish is this?
King salmon.
All right, so how can we tell it's not a coho or a steelhead? And how old is this fish?
That's probably a 2-year-old fish, definitely a juvenile fish.
Okay.
Definitely not a mature king, but good eating fish right there for sure.
Right.
So as far as how you tell, first of all, the entire tail is going to have spots on it.
Okay.
For a coho, only going to have spots on the top of the tail.
Okay.
One of the easiest way, look at the color of their mouth. King has a completely black mouth.
Okay.
The coho is going to have gray.
Yeah.
More gray in it. As far as a steelhead goes,
yeah,
steelhead basically have a completely different look. They're going to have more of a squarer tail, more of a defined light to dark on their back.
All right, great. You know, sometimes I wondered, geez, what is the real difference? But okay, they're all salmon.
They're all, well, steelhead aren't.
All right, folks, we'll be back with more right after this.
Okay. When I tell you to, you're going to back up.
Yeah.
He pulls down and tries to dig into that cable. Fish right there, too, Captain. Okay, he's right here. Swing your rod a little that way. Keep reeling. We got something going on here. Sorry about the net, guys. Let the net handle go in there. You come off, Cap? Yeah.
Right here, Johnny. He's right here. Fish is crazy.
Might need help.
And what? That's a wicked great fish.
Keep your rod up. Okay.
That might be an Atlantic, isn't it?
King.
Is it?
Come around the rod. There you go. Good job. Keep his head out of the water. Yep. Good job.
Nice job. Nice job, boys.
I'm Erica Tanner, and you're watching Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped on Comcast Cable 1075.
Wow, look at that fish.
Oh my God, that's a
wow.
Stay tuned for your outdoor tip of the week.
Welcome back to Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped. I'm Dale Helgeson with your Outdoor Tip of the Week. Today we're going to talk about tying just a simple knot. I use this knot for most of my knots. So if I pretend this is the eyelid of a hook or a jig or whatever you're tying on, could be a snap, and this is my line, just to make it easy to see. All you do I'm going to teach you how to do a polymer knot. So you just put it through the eyelet, stick it back through the eyelet. So now you have the tag end and your line going to your rod out that end, and you have a loop out the other end. So what you do is I hang on to the bait or whatever you're going to tie to in this tag end. And then I take this loop and you actually just tie it just a straight and single knot around your line, right? So you tie that, pull that tight, and then you actually take the loop and you have to hang on to this tag end. And you stick your jig or bait or whatever through that loop. And when you tie that down and cinch it up, this knot, it doesn't break. So I'm going to show you on a rod now. So this is just some fluorocarbon. I'm going to tie on a big jig. So you just stick it through the eye, stick it back through the eye, and grab that tag end. So I hang on to the tag end and the bait. So now I have the loop, and you just tie an overhand knot around your line going to your rod, and I cinch that down to the eye, and then you have this big loop, and then you just open that loop up, but hang on to the tag end with your other hand and pull that bait through, and when you tighten that up, let your knot down, but that knot does not break. It's a quick, easy knot, yet it's very strong. So I hope that'll help you tie your hooks on so you lose less baits. And stay tuned for more, and that is your Outdoor Tip of the Week.
I'm Trent from Bridge Up Brewing, and you're watching Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped.
I am having such a great time here at the Battenkill Valley Fish Festival, Fly Fishing Festival, and we came across some fly tires, and I was like, wow, we got to know more about this. And I came across Chris Del Plato, and thank you very much for spending some time with me today.
Thanks for having
but
me.
we're going to learn all about fly tying. So tell us a little bit about who you are and how in the world does somebody get involved in tying flies?
Okay, I was a fisherman, as a kid, and at some point I got introduced to fly fishing, not really knowing what I was doing, but I bought a cheap fly rod and a cheap reel and line, and I knew I needed flies, so I didn't know where to get flies, but I knew LL Bean.
Right, LL Bean.
Right, so I opened up the LL Bean fly fishing catalog. And there's many flies to pick from, and a lot of them are little insects and imitating insects and stuff like that. But what caught my eye were the big, colorful flies, and they ended up being streamers.
Okay.
Now, little did I know, I was buying a lot of smelt flies, and smelt imitator patterns, but there were no smelt in New Jersey. I didn't know that.
Right.
The hatchery trout I was fishing for didn't really care.
Right.
So I bought all these beautiful flies. And at some point later on, I got introduced to fly tying and went down that rabbit hole. And I got a hold of this book, which is considered the Streamer Fly Bible.
Okay.
And I think what really made the connection for me was I'm starting to read about the flies that I'm fishing. And the histories behind them. And just that connection between the fly patterns and the creators and the history,
right.
It struck a chord with me. And so that's my narrow focus.
You brought up a really good point, is that how many people understand the history of the fly, or do they just go, yeah, you know what, I'm going for brook trout and I'm just going to go get that?
I think you get all types. I mean, some people they don't care, they just want to catch fish.
I got it.
Right? And then other people are really intrigued, like where did this come from? Who created it?
Right.
Why did they create it?
Right.
So,
I think that's interesting to know that.
So one of the guys I'm focusing on here, because he was a Battenkill guy, is Lou Oatman. He was a fly tie. He was prominent. He's featured in that book.
Yeah.
He was prominent in the 50s. He died at a young age. But everybody in fly fishing that, once you learn fly fishing, you pick up on the mantra, match the hatch.
Match the hatch, right.
So he took that and applied it to bait fish, and it's like a match the minnow type of thing. So most of his fly patterns are created to resemble any one of the forage fish or the bait fish that are.
What a great idea! And I will say this right now on camera, folks. I never even heard of match the bait fish.
Yeah.
So how many people do that?
There have been a few in history. There are a lot of, it's a small section of I guess what you would call streamer flies.
Right.
There are a lot of fanciful flies they're very colorful. Some of them ostentatious, garish, if you want to call
Right.
But sometimes that can trigger a strike.
Wow.
Fish get angry, or they get annoyed,
Yeah.
or they're curious, and they'll bite for those reasons.
Right.
Other times, they're looking for the meal that they know inhabits the river. So you have to present as that, just like you do match the hatch.
Right.
Wow,
this is cool.
I'm recreating Lou's patterns as he tied them in his style, and he had a unique style,
right,
different than a lot of other people's styles. That's
so.
the story
Talk
here.
real quickly about styles. What do you mean by styles?
Okay, so well, perfect example right here. You can see a bunch of different styles. These are in the Carrie Stevens style, which is out of Rangeley, Maine.
We'll show the camera.
These are big trolling flies.
Yeah.
For the big brook trout and salmon. In the Maine waters.
Okay.
These here, you can see the more slender.
Yes.
Smaller profiles.
Yes, I see that.
And those resemble more of the common bait fish that you would find here in the Battenkill and the tributaries here. Now Lou had a unique style. His wings were, you can see these are much broader, wider.
Yeah.
He's using very slender hackles, and he's also got, you can see it really exemplified on this.
Yeah.
And I kind of did that to the extreme, but it's a very tapered cigar-like body, and that was just his style. That's the way he approached it, to try to taper it just like a bait fish's body would be tapered.
Right. So we have the Dace minnow here in the Walloomsac.
Yep.
And is one of these, would represent?
I don't have it here, but he does have a pattern called the male dace.
Okay.
Yeah,
and we have the red and black and the green and black. We have both.
So he would have the male dace is a more green pattern.
Absolutely.
So that would be the appropriate imitation for that.
So for this stuff, for your equipment, right, what kind of thread? I see obviously it's done with thread. Is it special thread, or is it just something you can just run to a craft store and get some thread?
Yeah, I mean, I have specific ones. I like to use probably thinner than most people tying streamers, but this is a Gordon Griffiths, which I don't even know. I'm a hoarder, so I have a lot of it.
I'm a hoarder.
Hand, but
nice.
I don't think this stuff is available anymore.
Okay.
But there's similar brands out there. It's a pretty fine thread, but it's really, for its size, it's quite strong.
Okay.
I like to use it because it doesn't build up a lot of bulk too quickly, and so when I get to the head, I don't like big globs.
See, this is all good Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped tips.
Right.
You don't want it to be too bulky.
And when you talk about like the hook size.
Yeah, the hook size.
If you look in the Bates book that I mentioned before, he's got all of his patterns, and they're all like the hook sizes are relative to the size of the specific bait fish he's imitating. So
got it.
Some are larger, some are. He did a smelt pattern for his customers in the northern region.
Yeah.
In the Maine area. And that's on a very big hook.
Yeah.
Because smelt are bigger. Stuff like the dace, like this is what I'm tying. Here's the ghost shiner.
Yeah.
That's a smaller. The minnow of the same name. That's a smaller fish. So he's sizing it accordingly.
So how do you go about then starting the fly? Obviously it's the hook. Then what?
So you're attaching the thread.
Yeah.
And then you work from the back forward. So the first thing that's going to go on is the tail.
Okay.
And this happens to be chicken feather. But it happens to be schlappen. It's called schlappen because it's all web.
Parts of the feather that you use, or do you use all of it?
Yeah. Well, this comes off the saddle, and it comes off the tip of the saddle, and it's very webby.
I see.
It doesn't have to be webby. You can use the other parts of the saddle, but that's just what I prefer to use.
Yeah.
And then as you work forward, now I would add the tinsel.
Okay.
So I'm gonna add tinsel, and my spool came undone here. That's all right.
And I notice everything is small. It's miniature. Everything
Yeah.
you work with is miniature.
Yeah, because it's relative. It's relative. You know, if you look at these, you know, I'd be working with bigger stuff. If you look
Right.
at these trolling
Right.
flies, then
Right.
everything gets scaled up. But yeah, so you're going to size everything accordingly. So when you're tying on tinsel as a rib, and this is put in place for later on. You'll see it on this example where we've got this ribbing here.
Yeah, I see that.
So that gets after the body is done with the floss. Then you can wrap that forward. But it's got to be put in place. And stuck, you know, towards the back of the fly. And usually these tinsels have two sides, gold and silver. So you want the side that you're going to end up wrapping actually goes against the hook.
I see.
So we want silver. So the silver is going to initially face the hook, and then when I start wrapping, it's going to fold over, and you'll see it. So that's
wow.
That's the attachment point there.
And how do you know when you have enough thread or enough color in it? Is it just from experience, or is it going, no, I got this picture and I can figure it out?
Well, I mean, my approach is always, because I like to preserve the history, so my approach is always to try to mimic, you know, if you take a fly recipe and it's just text on a piece of paper, you can take that pattern, that recipe, and give it to 10 different tyers. And if there's no visual accompanying that, you're going to get 10 different looking flies because they don't know exactly, you know, they're going to try to, they think they're all on the same page, but until you see an original, so I try to preserve the history by replicating, you know, the style that Lou tied in, because these were his flies. He had an approach and theories, and I'm trying to preserve that and tie it in his style with the colors that he used.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the sizes he used. Yeah.
That's really cool. Well, we got to get going to break. How do people find you if they want to do custom flies for people?
I do. I don't do commercial flies for fishermen, but what I do is I've been featured in a number of magazine. I've done magazine articles myself. Featured in magazine articles, books. Doug Lyons did a book on the bat and kill. I'm featured in that with the flies. Framers, people that are trying to frame a print and they need some flies to go along with it. Collectors, those kind of things. So it's you know, classic streamers. That's
okay. And how do people find you?
So I have a website, streamertire.com.
Okay.
You can also email me, streamertire@gmail.com.
Okay.
And streamertire on Instagram.
All right, great. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. All right, folks, we'll be back with more right after.
You can say she's got it all.
Behold the rainbow trout, a dazzling gem of freshwater streams and rivers across North America. The rainbow trout is renowned for its striking appearance, adorned with a spectrum of colors that gleam like a rainbow in the water. Anglers cherish the challenge of catching these elusive fish, prized for their beauty and fighting spirit. Rainbow trout thrive in cool, clear waters with ample oxygen, a habitat they share with various aquatic species. During spawning season, male rainbow trout develop intense colors to attract females, creating a stunning display of natural beauty. Conservation efforts are vital to preserving these iconic fish populations, ensuring future generations can enjoy their presence in our waterways. From tiny fry seeking refuge in gravel beds to mature adults navigating swift currents, the life cycle of a rainbow trout is a testament to resilience. For many, catching a rainbow trout is not just about sport. It's a connection to nature's bounty and a chance to create cherished memories. The rainbow trout, undeniably one of nature's most exquisite creations, reminding us of the wonder wonders that lie beneath the surface of our rivers and streams. So the next time you explore a freshwater habitat, keep an eye out for the flash of colors. A rainbow trout might just be waiting to capture your imagination.
42, 39, 56, you can say she's got it all.
Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped is brought to you in part by White Rocks Design Studio at Turcotte Design, who has been serving Southern Vermont for over 20 years. Fish Donkey, the future of tournament fishing. Targets Unlimited, Mercer Sports. Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped hot sauce with that big craft heat and that big craft taste. Corker Boots, P-Line, Sugar Mountain Trading Company. The Outdoor Experience Guide Service, who has been serving Southern Wisconsin for over 20 years. Cooler Guard Spray with the cleaning power of enzymes. Okuma Fishing, Hoffman Lures Incorporated, and a proud member of the Southwest Chamber of Commerce.
We'll meet you again. May God bless you. Adios.
Wise men say only fools rush in. But I can't help falling in love.